fog enveloped the dilapidated town of Eldridge, a heavy shroud clinging to shadows that whispered secrets from crumbling houses and untamed fields. To a passing traveler, it might appear abandoned, a relic long forgotten. The inhabitants had long departed, unable to endure the unsettling sensation of being watched from the hidden edges of reality. Yet for Henry, an aspiring writer in search of inspiration, the desolation was enticing. The air was thick with a strange energy, wrapping around him like an uninvited cloak as he stepped from his car, unease settling deeply into his bones. As days melted into weeks, Eldridge unveiled its enigmatic secrets, teasing glimpses into its dark recesses. Cracked plaster walls seemed to shift within his peripheral vision, and shadows danced fleetingly past grimy windows. Distant footfalls echoed along the desolate streets, while whispered syllables floated on the breeze, language that just eluded comprehension, gnawing at the edges of his sanity. He found refuge in a forgotten creek bed where the water murmured hauntingly into the night, watching in reverence as the moon waned from a bright orb to total darkness. His nights, however, descended into a frenzy of foolish dreams, the kind that filled his mind with visions of unreal landscapes. The plains, folded and warped like ancient parchment, crumbled by cosmic fingers. Each morning, upon awakening, dread settled uncomfortably in his chest, an awful sense that something or someone was creeping closer, lurking just beyond his reach. He began to prioritize these dreams over the mundane, drawn to them as one might be drawn to a lover, entwined by promises of esoteric revelations waiting to be discovered. The townsfolk, if they could be called that, were a mere scattering of figures, gaunt and spectral. Their skin clung to their bones like parchment, mouths whispering secrets that sent tremors rushing down Henry's spine. As he navigated this tapestry of shared madness, he felt the oppressive weight of their collective solitude wrapping around him. Their eyes, wide and devoid of light, seemed to accuse him, scrutinizing him for daring to intrude upon their haunting existence. As dread settled into the very marrow of his being, hallucinations began to twist and curl within his mind. He found solace by the creek, entranced by the water's surface as it rippled under a veil of moonlight filtered through gnarled clouds. But it was no ordinary water. Something darker, more sentient lived within, pulsing in response to his every touch, resonating deeply within his bones. Was this some kind of bridge to another world? Would the inhabitants beyond reach out to claim him as their own? On one chill-laden night, the fog thickened as he wandered the town, desperate to shatter the oppressive silence. A scream erupted in the distance, a primal sound that twisted his gut with unfathomable dread. Compelled by a disturbing curiosity, he followed the eerie sound, weaving through the intricately layered darkness. It led him to the remnants of the town's church, a twisted silhouette looming against the fog, Ethereal flames flickered behind its cracked, stained glass windows, refracting colors that defied description. With a sudden creak, the heavy door swung open, revealing a grotesquerie of bodies stacked vertically, intertwined in both chaos and calm. They writhed in unnerving symmetry, exuding an intoxicating blend of torment and ecstasy. Nightmares liquefied into grinning visages, mouths yawning wide enough to devour the very souls of the unsuspecting. Their countless eyes glinted in the dim light, fixating on Henry and drawing him closer, erasing the remnants of his will as if he were a mere pawn in their cosmic play. In that moment, clarity cracked through the fog of his mind like shattered glass. Perhaps they were not merely otherworldly beings, but manifestations of his own deteriorating sanity, reflections of dark truths he had buried deep within. The haunting reality of his isolation, his fervent longing for connection, and the fundamental question of what it meant to truly exist outside of physical form coalesced in his mind. As the moon loomed above, a gaping maw of forgotten memories, he trembled beneath the weight of their collective gaze. They beckoned him forward, inviting his very essence into their chaotic embrace. Within him swirled a tempest of terror and a profound yearning for understanding. He realized that he stood at a crossroads, faced with two choices: to surrender to the consuming void of their existence, or to resist the suffocating truth of his own insignificance. The fog thickened, swallowing the church in its spectral embrace. Had he stepped into a different realm, or had he merely fallen prey to the hallucinations that blurred the lines of his reality? In this moment of paralyzing uncertainty, fear wrapped around him like a heavy blanket as he turned to flee back to his car. Yet the feeling of countless eyes followed him, an echo of whispers climbing through the fog, a haunting reminder that Eldridge remained indifferent to his existence, eternally cloaked beneath a cosmic veil